Welcome to the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. Here's your host, Brian Hanley.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's your man, Big B, Brian Hanley. Welcome back to Big 12 Insiders. Appreciate everybody being in here, man. It is a Big 12 Wednesday. No games last night, which was kind of welcome. You know, after the weekend, sometimes you just need a break. Well, Wednesday, we got 4 games. We'll break a little bit of those down for you. But the main thing is we are talking about BYU. I told you earlier in the week that we were probably going to talk about BYU, and today is that day. Is BYU really overhyped? Are they overhyped? Because they can't get over the hump against elite competition. So we're going to break that down and give you the ins and outs, the good, the bad, on why they haven't been able to break through, and also give you a solution. Because it's one thing to constantly bitch about a problem, but it's another thing to actually have a solution. And I always find that people that just complain, you don't listen to those people. You listen to the people that complain, but also have a solution. So hopefully I can be that person that you guys listen to, because I think I got a solution for the BYU Cougars. So appreciate you guys being in here. We're going to break it all down. Again, remember to like, follow, subscribe, continue to get in the comment section, and always hit that notification bell so you know exactly when Big 12 Insiders content comes out. So let's get started. First things first, 4 games tonight. Couldn't be more excited. Colorado going to Baylor. Both these teams are coming off big wins over the weekend. Colorado just absolutely destroying TCU, and Baylor going on the road looking like the team that we all thought they were going to be, you know, to start the season, winning at West Virginia. Not sure what team is going to show up for Baylor. If the same team shows up for Baylor that showed up at West Virginia, I think they win the game. But then again, and Colorado is absolutely not the same team on the road. They've proven to be that. So we'll see about this one. Next up, BYU going to Oklahoma State. We talked yesterday about the Big 12 or the Big 12 power rankings. Oklahoma State is there. They've got an opportunity to make the tournament. I know that seems wild, but if they can get to 500 in this league, they're going to make it, people. They are going to, and they should. They should. You finish 500 in the Big 12, you should be in March Madness. Absolutely. Having said that, they're going to need a marquee win. They need to win one of these games, and here's an opportunity. BYU coming to you to Stillwater. Here's an opportunity for you to win. BYU maybe still smarting after that loss to KU. They're trying to get back on track. Not that they're off track. That sounds weird, like they've lost a bunch of games or something like that. So maybe that's the wrong terminology to use about BYU, because I don't think they're off track. They just lost a basketball game. But they're looking to get back in the winning column. Maybe that's a better thing on the road. So should be a really good matchup there. Arizona State at Utah. I'm lying to you if I tell you that this is going to be a great a great matchup. It could still be a good basketball game, but it's at the bottom of the conference. There's no doubt about that. And then the best game of the night, maybe the best game anywhere in the country, is UCF traveling to Houston. At the beginning of the season, even at the beginning of the conference season, you wouldn't think that this game at the beginning of February would be that big of a deal. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's that big of a deal. One, can UCF prove itself on the road? They've done so at home, but can they do it on the road? You know, the last time out against elite competition, they played Iowa State, 30-point beatdown. Okay? So for all the goodwill that they have at home, beating a Kansas, you know, beating a Texas Tech, that's all well and good, but now you got to prove yourself on the road, because if you're going to be taken seriously, especially when it comes to March Madness, you're going to be, all those games are on neutral sites. So you at least got to have a good showing at Houston. From Houston's perspective, it's, yeah, we're here to show you that you haven't arrived just yet. That, yeah, I get it. You've won a couple of games at home. You're playing well. Good for you. But now this is a different deal coming to us. And so that's the storyline, should I say, for both of these teams, is that can UCF keep it together, hold their composure, and play a good game on the road? And Houston just saying, you haven't arrived just yet, And I think that's kind of going to be what it is. I'm looking forward to that basketball game. Should be fun. Now, let's get into it, people. BYU. A lot of people in the comments are like, come on, Big B, why are you so high on BYU? And I've even alluded to that over the last couple of weeks and just saying, yeah, I like this BYU team, and I still like them. I still think they're really good. But can you be considered an elite team within this conference if you can never beat the elite teams? So let's start here. Why are they losing these games? Well, I think the first thing is they're playing really good basketball teams. I think you have to throw that into the mix immediately before you say anything. Now, if they were losing to the bottom of the conference, if they were losing to Kansas State and things of that nature, then you could say, okay, why? There's no way you can be high on this team. They can't even beat the bottom of the conference. But that's not what's going on here. The games that they have lost, even out of conference, UConn, Texas Tech, Arizona, and KU. So we're not actually talking about just, bottom feeders within college basketball. These are some of the most elite programs out there, if not the most elite programs. Hell, Arizona's 1, UConn's 2. So they're playing good competition. So when I talk about elite teams, they're playing them. There is no doubt about that. But at the same time, if you want to be considered or classified in that same category, you got to win some of those games. You can't just play them tough, or you can't just, because losing is losing. I know some people, hey, we played on the road and we played a good game, we just lost. Losing is losing, people, regardless of how you try to slice it up. We can still admit and admire that you played a good game, but we can also say, yeah, but the good game wasn't good enough to win. And so, because to me, I would rather play bad and win than play good and lose. And it doesn't matter when that is, because you could play 6 bad games in the NCAA tournament, but if you win all of them, who cares? They still give you a trophy at the end. So that's my thought. There's never an excuse for losing. There might be reasons, but there's never an excuse. And there's a difference. I just want people to understand that. There's a reason you lost the game, but that's not an excuse for losing a game. And I think sometimes we, myself included, we don't see that. We get lost in the trees when we talk about stuff like that, but you can't, because losing is still losing no matter how you slice it. And winning is still winning no matter how you slice it. So just keep that in perspective. Now, the biggest weakness for this BYU team in these games, and to me, I don't even think, I think all BYU fans would tell you this, it's defense, is that when it comes to playing these elite teams, they're just giving up. They're flat out giving up too many points. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I know basketball these days is 3-point shooting and pace and floor spacing and all that stuff. I 100% understand that. But you still have to be able to guard people. You still got to be able to keep people in front of you. You still have to be able to get the stops when you need to get the stops. And if you look at the 4 games that BYU has lost, they're averaging giving up 86.5 points a game. That's too many. That is just too many. And again, they're playing good competition. So I'm not trying to say that they're playing against bad basketball teams. They're not. They're playing against good competition, but that doesn't mean anything. You still have to be able to stop people. You can't just say, well, because they're really good, we got to give up 90 points. Well, no, you don't. No, you don't have to give up 90 points. But that's the difference. And then in their other games, outside of those 4 losses, BYU's averaging giving up 71 points a game. Well, that's a 15.5-point swing right there, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. So again, I know you're playing against elite competition, but you still have to be able to shut some people down. And there's a big jump between 86.5 and 71, even if you are playing elite competition, because if you cut that down from 86.5 to 79, I would almost guarantee that BYU wins 2 of those basketball games, maybe 3. And that's the difference. You can't give up that many points against these teams. You have to find a way. Now, here's one thing is, well, we'll come back to that. Is another thing that's a problem is the crucial moments, like down the stretch. You got to be able to make plays, down the stretch. And in some of these games, when the games get close, they just haven't made the plays to win. And like I said before, crucial moments or, getting into these situations to be able to win, you have to be there. And it's the games can come down to one possession. And I know a lot of people say, well, there's so many things that happen in a basketball game that could have decided the game. Yeah, but it came down to one possession. So you can talk to me all you want about what happened, at the 8-minute mark left in the first half of a basketball game. You can tell me that, and you can preach to me in the face, and you can say all of that stuff. I'm not going to listen to it, because when the game is on the line with 30 seconds to go, what did you do to win? And it's just that simple. I don't buy that talk about all these things that happened in the game. It didn't just come down to one play. Well, yes, it did. Yes, it did come down to one play, and you could have made it. Regardless of what happened throughout the basketball game, whatever happened, it came down to 30 seconds. Did you make the play to win? Period. End of story. And I get that other things can happen in a basketball game, but it didn't. That wasn't the deciding fact. Like, it didn't come down to that play and the game was over. With 30 seconds to go, it's if you don't make the play, the game's over. You don't have other opportunities to make up for what happened with 8 minutes to go in the first half. You have plenty of time to make up for that. There is no time when there's 30 seconds. And that's why I don't buy into, there was 100 things that happened in this basketball game. It didn't come down to one play. Yes, it did. Because if that didn't matter, then why do coaches practice it? Because you hear coaches say that, but that's coach speak because they don't want to throw players under the bus. So if the 30 seconds at the end of the game, if that kind of stuff doesn't really matter, then coaches would never practice it. But they absolutely do, because they know that you have to be well-versed in what we're trying to do at winning time. And too many times, BYU has not been able to do that. They've got to do a better job of making the winning plays. I mean, you think about it, the game against Arizona. I mean, you could talk about the game against KU. Yes, they had to come back, but they did. Had the ball down 4, didn't make enough plays to win the basketball game. Arizona, they come all the way back. They got the ball down 1 with an opportunity to win. Didn't make the play. Or should I say Arizona made the play to win the game. That's probably more of what happened. But regardless, you got to make the plays to win the game. It's just that simple. And I'm not saying that BYU guys aren't mentally tough. I'm not digging at them like that. All I'm saying is, at some point, you've got to be the team that makes the play. Period. Now, one thing that they do well, and they've done well all season, and that's a good thing, is they've rebounded the basketball. In these games that they have lost, they have held their own, if not outright won the rebounding battle. Like, they haven't been out-rebounded by 10. Like, that hasn't happened. I think the most that they got out-rebounded, matter of fact, I'm positive, was by 2 in a game that they have lost. So they're holding their own on the backboard when it comes to that, because a lot of times that can be a deciding factor is, oh, well, they got beat because they got crushed on the glass. Well, that hasn't happened in these games, that's a good thing. That's a positive sign, of things that they are doing right. Now, here in my opinion, is what BYU needs to do to change, to get this tide going the right way. And it's not complicated. It's not something long and drawn out or something that's incapable of happening. It's pretty basic. BYU has 3 stars. Those 3 stars have to play like stars in those games. Period. End of story. They have to be stars when it's time to be a star. You know, it's one thing if you're going to be a star playing at home against, I don't know, Colorado, and you score 35 points. Okay, fine. But what are you going to do at Kansas? You know, what are you going to do when you're playing against Arizona? So let's break it down and let's look at the games and see what has happened. You lost to UConn. Robert Wright in that game, who I've said before, I think Robert Wright is really the key to BYU season. Well, he's mentioned in a couple of these, but against UConn, Robert Wright had 6 turnovers. You're not winning when your point guard's got 6 turnovers. Now, early in the season, still trying to learn each other, whatever, 6 turnovers is still 6 turnovers. Remember what I said. There's reasons for losing, but there are no excuses. 6 turnovers is 6 turnovers. Got to play better. Got to play better. Move on. You go to Texas Tech. A.J. DeBansta, 13 points. You're a star. 13 points, not good enough. You know, he was 6 of 17 shooting. Not good enough. Now, again, some people are going to say, well, you can't shoot the basketball great every night. I'm not saying you have to. But what did I say? If you're going to be one of the elite teams, you've got 3 stars on your team. You got to be stars. You just have to be stars. Or better yet, you can't be one of the reasons why you're not winning the game. Now, you could say, well, he wasn't the reason. Well, 13 points by a guy that's one of the top scorers in the country, that's not good enough. You know it, and I know it. That's just, and it's okay to say. Like, you're not bashing on DeBansta by saying that. You're not bashing on him and saying that he's not any good or he's a choker. You're not saying that. But truth is truth. 13 points is not good enough. You know that, and I know. And it doesn't matter if somebody else has 100 points in the game for you. You shot 6 for 17. That's just not good enough. Moving on. That was against Texas Tech. Against Arizona, Robert Wright, 3 for 16, 7 points. Not good enough. I mean, 3 for 16 says it all. Again, we talked about making the plays at the end of the game. Got his shot blocked with an opportunity to win the basketball game at the end. Now, more of that was about Braden Burries making a play, but it still happened. No excuses, people. You got to make the plays in winning time. But again, 3 for 16, 7 points, that's not good enough. And again, doesn't matter who else is doing something for you. You shot the basketball 16 times. I mean, first of all, that's wild if somebody else had 35 points and you were still able to get off 16 shots. But since you did, can you make at least 42% of those? But you didn't. That's a problem, you know. And it's again, you're not taking digs, you're just talking truth. And I know on the internet, you're a hater and you're hating. No, they're just giving facts and telling the truth isn't hating on anybody. These are just reasons. Like I said, not excuses, reasons. Then you look at the KU game. Now, Robert Wright in that game, he had 18 points, but any BYU fan is being honest with you. What did he have, like 4 or 6 of those points when the game was decided? You know, he was 7 for 16. That's not good enough. But then you also look at DeBansta. DeBansta had a super slow start to that game. Wasn't assertive, you know. Now, part of that, again, KU's defense, I thought it was brilliant by Bill Self to put Debunga on him. Bedunga just, I mean, he's long, he's athletic. I thought it was a brilliant move. Slowed him down until he could get it figured out. And then once he got it figured out, he came on a little bit. But, again, a slow start because I don't even think he took a shot for the first 8 minutes of the game. Well, if you're a star, that can't happen. That just can't happen, especially when their star is going berserk in the game because Peterson was absolutely just playing out of his I wouldn't say out of his mind because he is that good. but he just went to war and just took it to BYU. You needed somebody to thwart that. And Richie Saunders, if you remember, he was playing well, but he went berserk in the second half. But you need your stars. And that's all I'm saying. If you're going to beat the elite teams, even if your stars aren't going to have 30 points, all of them aren't going to have 30 points in a game because that's not possible. But you can't be the reason that your team can't get over the hump. And in these games, they haven't had all of their guys playing well all together because that is possible. I'm not saying that Saunders, DeBansta, and Wright all have to have 25 points apiece or anything like that. It'd be nice, but I'm not saying that because that's not really realistic. But I am saying you don't have to be the reason. Like, you don't have to struggle because the other two are playing well. That's my point. Don't be the reason. Stars, be stars. And sometimes being a star is just not playing bad. Sometimes it's just playing okay, making sure that the offense runs, making sure guys get other shots, rebounding the basketball, stopping somebody on the other end. Stars have to be stars for them to get over the hump. Now, will they break through? I think they will. They definitely are going to have the opportunities because you look at the rest of their schedule, against what the conference and myself deem to be the elite teams in the conference. February 7th, they take on Houston at home. The 18th at Arizona. The 21st, Iowa State. The 24th, UCF, who is now part of that. UCF may take a step back, but they haven't, as of now, they're in it. And then March 7th, Texas Tech. So they have opportunities, and 4 of those are at home. So if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe I am. So you got 5 more opportunities, and 4 of those you get at home. You got to break through. You got to be able to break through. And again, those things, if you tighten it up on defense and your stars are stars, I think you got a shot. I think, and not just a shot, they got a shot just by stepping on the court. They got a shot. I think if you do those 2 things, you are going to be able to break through. But they haven't as of yet. And I just can't give them the nod of being in the elite if you can't get over the hump. At some time, you got to do that. We can't keep saying they're part of it if they can't beat any of the teams that are in it. That's all I'm saying. But do I think they will? Yes. Talented. They'll do enough to be able to get there, people. So appreciate everybody being in here today, man. It should be a good basketball night in the Big 12. That UCF at Houston game, I'm very interested and very invested because, like I said, UCF, can you take your show on the road? Houston, hey, we're still one of the top. You haven't arrived yet, UCF. So I'm interested to see how that battle goes. So appreciate all you guys, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you for watching the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. This has been a Spirit Street production.